Okay, so starting with the 2020 A-level question number 6. What is the quantity theory of money? Again, a question repeated in so many previous papers, no? So you can say the quantity theory of money talks about what? Talks about a proportionate relationship or a direct relationship. Proportionate, or in other words, they say that there is a direct relationship between what and what? Between price level and money supply. So in order to explain this, what do they use? They use the equation of exchange. Equation of exchange says, right? The equation of exchange says MV equals PT. For this equation of exchange, they make certain assumptions. By making an assumption that velocity of circulation and the number of transactions are constant, they say, look here, if the money supply increases, price will also increase. So if money supply doubles, price level will double. If money supply falls, price level will fall. They say there is a proportionate relationship. That story is what you have to explain, Lamai. Very simple. You start off your answer by saying what is the quantity theory of money, and then say that they use the equation of exchange. They make certain assumptions like this, and that's what they do. So you get your 4 marks. There is no very big things to write, Lamai. If you can give your answer in, let's say, 2 proper paragraphs, I think it should make sense. Moving to the next. Question 2. Very common question again. What are the costs of inflation? Cost of inflation, what are the disadvantages? Can you give me 4 disadvantages for 4 marks? What can we say? Because of not connected with maybe the current situation with last year and all, what happened? Because of inflation. One thing you can say, there is, okay, the cost of living. Cost of living increases. As a result of the cost of living increases, what happens, Lamai, to your standard of living standards? Cost of living is expensive, right? So you can say there, as a result, the living standard has come down. Now just even think about your Lamai. Now maybe earlier, 2-3 years ago, maybe every day for lunch you all had a meat, right? Maybe you had chicken or fish or something. But now maybe only for 3 days you all have meat. For one day you might have an egg. For another day you might have, let's say, paravala, right? You might have something like that. See, standard of living has come down. Because why? Cost of living has gone up. Unless your income also has gone up to match that, you probably would have cut down. You can say that. Is what about poverty, Lamai? That's another thing that is a big issue in inflation. Remember, with inflation, more and more prices going up, so many people have fallen below the poverty line. No, we remember we learned this in unit number 11 and 12. So what happens, right? So you can say poverty increases, right? With inflation going up, you can, if you want, you can explain, you can say, given that the cost of living increases, many individuals fall below the national poverty line. As a result, they end up in poverty, not even able to satisfy their basic needs. That can be another one. Then what about the real what about fixed income earners? People like who get pensions, fixed salaries, people like that. What happens to them, guys? Fixed income earners, what happens to them, right? So you can say the fixed income, not owners, fixed income receivers. Okay, fixed income receivers lose. Why? Because their real income, or in other words, their purchasing power, right? Their real income or purchasing power comes down. No, with the with this thing, the real income or purchasing power starts to come down. Fine. Then Lamai, what else? Okay, so you can say lenders lose. You can talk about lenders losing, and you can also say savings and investment, right? Savings and investments are discouraged. Because of what reason? Because of the real interest rate coming down. Now, if inflation rate is higher than the nominal interest rate, real interest rate is negative. Ne? How do you calculate real interest rate? Real interest rate, right? Real interest rate is your nominal interest rate. That is what the banks are saying, right? So bank is saying you come and deposit money with me, I will give you 10%. Okay. But when you look at the inflation rate, let's say inflation is at let's say 6%. So your real benefit that you get is only how much? Only around 4%. Okay. Now, then you can also talk about shoe leather and menu cost. What is shoe leather and menu cost, Lamai? What is shoe leather cost? Shoe leather cost is, guys, when the price of goods go up. Now you have to walk. Now this is an ancient term, right? Shoe leather. So when the price of goods go up, Lamai, now you have to search, where and where do they have lower prices? Where do I put my money now? Right? Should I take it from this bank and put to that bank? Which shops will have the low prices? You have to walk around and all, no? So what happens is the leather in your shoe gets worn out, no? That's the whole concept of shoe leather cost. Because of inflation, now consumers will have to choose where to invest their money. They will have to, let's say, see where the prices of goods are low to buy those goods, Therefore, they'll have to walk around, do all of that. So there is a shoe leather cost. Then what is menu cost, Laman? Menu cost is whenever there is inflation, people have to update their menus. Just think of a restaurant. Now, restaurant, when you go, they give you a nice menu card, right? So every time there is inflation, now they have to increase their price. So they have to now print new and new. They have to print new and new, let's say, menu cards. They have to, let's say, if there are websites, they have to update all those websites and change all of that. Then they'll have to, if they have printed big banners and they'll have to change those. Those are what you call menu. So with inflation, shoe leather cost and menu cost also starts to go. Since through inflation borrowers can benefit, can't investment increase? They will not borrow and invest, they'll borrow and spend. Overvaluation of exchange rate, you can go there, but since that's a little bit advanced, I'll keep the overvaluation part for unit number 10. Overvaluation of net correct. Yes, menu cost is what I just explained, Lamai. The fact that you have to print new menu cards, update your websites. When the prices go up, you'll change all of that. So you have to print new banners now with new pricing, all of that. Reduce the level of production. Okay, yes, export competitiveness comes down. Inequality in income distribution, you can connect it with point number 3. You can say because the fixed income earners are losing, the variable income fellows, they win. So they will increase their salaries, increase their cost prices and all, and they'll try to earn more. And fixed income earners will lose. So you can say as a result, there can be what? There can be disparities in income distribution. Short-term investments, fine, but then since real interest rate is negative, you're not going to really invest. During inflation, guys, you are not going to borrow and invest. You borrow and spend. You consume. You borrow and buy a good. There is no point borrowing and putting it into another bank or putting it to something else because you're losing. Okay. Depreciation of exchange rate, you can't give that as a direct effect, Lamai. Now, just because there is inflation, for there to be a depreciation in the exchange rate, your exports should fall, imports should rise. As a result, only it can happen. So it's not like a direct effect, guys. Write the direct ones, right? When they say cost of inflation, you can say export competitiveness coming down. That is correct. But then directly saying inflation will cause a depreciation, yes, there is a connection, I agree. But for that to happen, everything has to happen perfectly. No? So there are more very obvious ones that you can write 4 marks. Don't skip those and write the others. Yes, negative effect on exports. Your export competitiveness comes down. Okay, that's also a very easy one. So see, question number 1 on quantity theory of money. Question number 2, cost of inflation. Very direct and easy question. Then question number 3. What are the major determinants of demand for money? So what are the determinants? On one side, you have income. The more income you have, the more money that you would demand. Income is there. That is for transaction and speculate. Sorry, transaction and precaution. Then you have interest rates. So apart from this, guys, can you give me a few others? Now they are asking for 3 marks. No? So at least you write 3. Now you don't have to explain these also. They're simply asking what are the determinants. So apart from this, price level, then innovations in the financial system, exchange rate, not really, guys. Okay, maybe innovations in the financial system, right? Maybe things like future expectations, your future expectations for price and even your income. Now, for example, let's say I know next month uh, I will get a higher income. Let's say I'm getting a promotion. So that can actually help. Okay. Time gap is not really determinant. I think these are the more factors. Okay? So institutional factors, you can put it under this innovations in the this thing. Again, remember, guys, when you are writing for three, ideally write the main three, right? The income, and interest rate has to definitely be there. Okay, you can't write an answer without that. Okay, so income has to be there, interest rate has to be there. Your third factor most likely can be price level. Always remember, guys, before you jump into the future of money is number 4. Okay, before you jump into any answer, always just because you see the question, don't start writing. First think of all the points, then start writing, because sometimes you will miss out on very important ones and write nonsense. Now, even in this answer, let's say you write future expectations, price level on top. That gives a very bad signal to the examiner. Examiner will be like, "Ayo, this fellow doesn't know the main stuff, he is writing some other nonsense." Yeah. So you start your answer by saying the main stuff. Then you write the other ones. Always do that. Okay. Don't start your answer with nonsense. Your proper thing you write first, then you come to the next. Then part 4. Hiyo. State 4 core functions of the central bank. Now, guys, for this, you can't talk about can we write as firms to hoard goods. Not really a cost of inflation, right? Firms hoarding goods is okay, but no, again, not a main thing. Okay. State 4 core functions of the central bank. Can you tell me some core functions, guys? One main thing that we learn in unit number 7, what do? They conduct the monetary policy. You can say that. Apart from that, conduct the monetary policy. You can say they are the ones who issue notes and currencies. Issue notes and currencies. You can say yes, they conduct the exchange rate policy. Okay. What else? Guys, now for things like this, okay, don't write agency functions. Remember when we learn the what? The functions of central bank, remember in my tute also, in any tute, guys, core functions and agency functions, remember we have divided those into. What are the agency functions? The things that the central bank does on behalf of someone else, usually on behalf of the government. So on behalf of the government only, they manage the national debt. They, take care of this EPF, ETF, right? All of those. Now, those things are more like agency functions. So don't write those, Laman. Now, if they have asked functions of a central bank, fine. But here they are asking, state the 4 core functions. The exchange rate policy is the exchange rate, controlling that. Okay. So you can say, managing the official reserves, right? Okay. Managing the official reserves of the country, supervision of banks, okay, supervision of, let's say, even the financial system itself, okay. You can talk about those now. So remember to write the core functions. Don't go and write agency function, because why? They're saying this. So if you write things like managing national debt, handling the EPF, ETF, those stuff are not this. Okay. Issuing license primary readers. Okay, so we'll put all of that under supervision of financial system. Provide facilities for commercial banks to maintain reserves accounts. Okay, but not a main one again. Yes, remember, always main ones first. Now, question number 5. 2020 was very easy, no? Last one. Assume that in a hypothetical economy, okay, clearing agent fine shape, but again main ones. During a given period, total money supply was 6,400. Okay. Total amount of bank deposits were 5,200. Remember, guys, the first thing that you has to come to your mind when you see something like this is what? Money supply is 6,400. Demand deposits were 5,200. Even without, reading the Next part of the question, what has to come? The currency held by the public. See the difference between, now remember, money supply M1 is currency held by public plus demand deposit. So even in your conscious mind, this has to run. You don't have to write this anywhere. So money supply, they said is 6,400. Now this one they are saying is 5,200. So you need to know, okay, right? That means I can find currency held by public, which is how much? 1,002. Okay. SRR is 10%. Value of excess reserves held by the bank was 280. What is the total amount of high powered money? Ayyo, how many times we did this question? Even in the mock exam series recently we did, no? Yesterday's paper, remember there was an MCQ on this to find the high powered money and then to find the money multiplier. There I put it in MCQ. Here they are giving 3 marks to find the high powered money and another 2 marks to find the money multiplier. Right? 5-mark question easily converted into MCQ in the mock paper. So how do you find high powered money, Lamai? High powered money has what and what? Number 1, currency held by public. Number 2, currency held by commercial banks. Number 3, commercial bank deposits in the central bank. Number 4, we have other government agency deposits in the central bank. Okay, so then we'll find high powered money. Number 1 that we found is currency held by public. 1,200. Okay, so it's currency held by public 1,002. Currency held by commercial banks. So commercial banks, they usually keep excess reserves with them. So how much is that? Value of excess reserve by the bank are 280. So this is the currency held by commercial banks. Then commercial bank deposit in the central bank. This is usually the excess reserve, remember. Okay. Then commercial bank deposit with the central bank. That is, what do they deposit? The required reserves, no? That's the required reserve part usually. It doesn't only have to be the required, there can be more, right? But usually in questions like this, the required reserve. So how much is our required reserve, Lama? SRR is 10%, deposits are 5,200. So how much is 10% of 5,200? 10% of 500 has to be 520. So they would have deposited 520 there. Are they talking about other government agency deposits? No, nothing like that. No, so that is 0. So then you get the total, you get your total high powered money. How much is the number? 1,002 plus 280 plus 520? 2,000? No, that is your, and give it nicely in billions and all. Don't just say 2,000. No, the question itself is to calculate that number. So you can say rupees 2,000 billion. More correct answer. So don't miss that small rupees and billion. They can cut marks. Going to B. What is the value of money multiplier? How do you calculate money multiplier? Money multiplier is money supply divided by high powered money. Guys, money multiplier, deposit multiplier are two things. So money supply is how much? 6,400. Our high powered money that we got was how much? 2,000. So 6,400 divided by 2,000, you get 3.2. Is that okay, guys? That's, I think, one of the easiest 5 marks again. See, 2019 was very easy, no? The questions and everything. Very basic Baba type questions only they kept on asking. They asked us what is quantity theory of money. They asked us what are the cost of inflation. They asked determinants of demand for money. Then they said functions of the central bank. And then they asked for 2 questions of high powered money and money multiplier. Don't you think you can get 20 out of 20 for something like this? If you get, this would be like a Mara chance, no? If you get a question like this, you can definitely get a 20 out of 20. Unit number 7 question, if you can get 20 out of 20, right? That's the easiest thing that you can get, right? Then 2020 is done. We'll move to the next.